Hollywood was the same thing. It was a creation of my mind to begin with. But then what you do is you put it out there like it already exists. You feel it as if it already exists. And then you know, when the doors open up, you walk through them, you know? I mean, like,
writing my first album, I'm big into like dream boards and manifestation and whatever, and I'd written it down that on my third record, I'd love to headline Glastonbury.
Oh, wow.
And also that I'd love to work with Tame Impala.
No way.
Like those are two things on my dream board that I just had put while I was working on my first album. Because I felt like I just had to do so much.
Did you do that when you were younger as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works when you're really specific.
Well, yeah, you have to be really specific. I think you just have to put out the things that you really want.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll happen.
And it's actually...
I haven't even told anyone this, but I spent the last week just writing over and over to myself, I will be Olympic champion, I will be Olympic champion. Maybe, gosh, like 500 times I wrote it down.
Seriously?
Yes, over and over and over again to drill it in my head, in my notes on my phone. And I just did it over and over again every day. I woke up and I did that. I envisioned the race and then I went about my day.
That's incredible. That kind of affirmation, I will be an Olympic champion.
Just
I am an Olympic champion.
Exactly.
Because there is also the difference between like I will be and I am.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You gotta really feel that thing.
You have to believe it. You have to make yourself believe it, even if you trick yourself into believing it. In my head, it had already happened.
Yeah.
I had envisioned the race so many times that it was already my reality in my brain.
Probably a definition of how I felt at that moment mentally, and what, you know, the plans that I had, the visions that I had. I was 7. I already, you know, I was making like out of you know, like plastic or like a little paper materials. I was making the Wimbledon trophy. I was lifting, you know, and stuff like this. So it was very, very clear in my mind that that's going to be my life, my mission.
Have you ever doubted yourself going on to, you know, and being a professional and going against some of these top players for the first time? Did you ever have doubt? Or were you always like, I can beat them, I can be the best?
Oh, I had plenty of doubts. And
on my own behalf, obviously, we spoke about power of, you know, visualization and preparing yourself for possible scenarios. And I obviously try to play the match in my mind before I go on the court. I probably could not play this kind of scenario, but I, you know, always try to imagine myself as a winner.
A lot of this does take place internally, spiritually, of like taking time, fasting, not eating food, like just trying to get myself centered, going to the beach and like really just like manifesting this into the world and really bringing it into the world and deciding like, here's my thought, and I'm just bringing it down into the world and just making it heavier, heavier, heavier until it sinks, until it's real, you know. And just looking right here and even seeing this right now, like I just am like, my mind, it doesn't make sense to my mind, but that happened, and that's a thing that you just bring down, and every day I just, you know.
Ollie, congratulations for the goal the other night. How's it been coming down, the emotions after something that dramatic?
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable feeling, to be honest. One that I was, you know, I was taken back by the goal, but also I wasn't shocked that I did that, really, because I have full belief in myself. I knew when I was going onto the pitch that I was going to score. You know, I manifested it. I had worked very hard to get to that point, so it's been an amazing feeling, but I'm not shocked.
That somewhere I manifested a lot of this, because I remember that I used to go to this acting class called Actor Prepares, which is at SV Road, and I remember that Shanu Sharma's casting office was on the 4th floor, and and Anupam Kher's acting class was on the 3rd floor. And I remember that everyone used to kind of go near Shanu's office and look at that office and be like, oh, one day I'll walk in and, you know, I'll have that. And I've had that moment. I've had that moment where I've seen Shanu's office and I've said, one day I'm going to go inside this and one day I'm going to get a Yash Raj film. And it was stuck in my mind. And I promise you, I did not get a Yash Raj film for almost 5 years of auditioning at Yash Raj.
Yeah, I know.
I actually eventually got the film much later. So it was not like I manifested and I went in and I got my first audition. I didn't. I auditioned again and again and again, and then eventually it happened. Really? And
I lived most of my life in fantasy.
Wow, really?
Yes. And a lot of the fantasies became real. where I fantasized about doing stand-up. I fantasized about, you know, acting and, you know, making the camera crew laugh and stuff. And I remember when I was doing, I did this sketch show, and we were doing one of these remote shoots, and I was just riffing and blah, blah, blah. And the whole time I was thinking like, all right, you know, there's that gnawing like, oh my God, just don't get fired off of this gig. And when we were done shooting and everybody came up to me, I remember walking away thinking like, oh fuck, that was that thing that I used to fantasize. I wish I could do that. And that just happened.
Those three things, when you function completely in a way where it's an unwavering faith. Like, it don't matter how fucked up that shit might look. It don't matter how much it feel like it ain't gonna work.
Delusional.
Complete delusion. You gotta believe the delusion. Because it's only delusional until it works. So is it really delusional? A motherfucker only gonna call it delusion until it don't work for nobody else to see, but for the whole world to see. And then once the world see it, there's nothing delusional about it. Now your delusion becomes, oh, he was a fucking genius. We didn't see it when he saw it. We didn't understand it when he did. We thought this motherfucker was crazy.
Terry, you killed this.